Hello, Wing fans. Today it's Speedball Haro to do a second of my Gunpla Classics. Today I decided to go with my duo of, well, of the Wingverse. The twins that sadly, it was surprising were not called Gemini, but they do play an important role in the series, and that is the good old Mercurius and Vayeate. And for those who are wondering, these are no grades and they are 144 scale. In fact, to be truthful with all of you, these are literally like one of the only ways to get these two. There is pretty much no other variant besides resin kits. And those who don't know what that is a chemical created plastic that pretty much is in like a palish color that you have to paint and do all the other stuff in cases. But today I'm looking at the official Bandai models of Mercurius and V8. Now, before I start work showing these two off, there is something I should mention, and that is you're probably wondering why I named the video Triple Threat of the Dolls when you're seeing two right now. Well, there's a third kit I'm going to be reviewing with these two, and it actually deals with these two, as into their mold. Now, I'm not going to show it right this second. I'm going to first show these two so you can see them, because they're about the same everywhere minus their weapons and heads. But I will get to the third kit once I get these two done. Let's start with the boy in blue, V8. The mobile suit piloted and was, well, not inspired, but due to events in the series, ended up as powerful as Troa, the pilot of the heavy arms. As you can see, his specialty was firepower, as you can tell. Now, just as my last review, these are from the Wing no grade lines, so they're not perfect in articulation or detailing, but they're not terrible either. As you can see, he's able to move. This gun is fully articulated. As you can see, it has a sub arm right there. Of course, I had to adjust it though with extra parts so it fully reaches. So you know, and this is an actual piece of rubber, I believe. But no, I did modify this because the original was plastic, and you can't get good poses with that. And well, as you can see, this back piece does tend to pop out a bit, but it does fully close, just like in his series. And he does have leg articulation. See, luckily enough, he doesn't have any butt flaps, so he doesn't have the butt flap problem. But he doesn't have the best knee articulation, as you can see. Does have fine foot articulation. Head can go up and down. It can spin around, but it will possibly pop off if you pull too hard. And these have rubber hands, like all the no grade variants did. And like I said, this gun is swappable, but like I said, I have it right now in its pose so you can see how it's positioned. Now, and shoulders do have articulation. Now let's put him back in the pose so you can see how he would fire his gun, as you can see. And as I stated before, you will need to do paint work on no grades, but they're definitely not terrible kits, being that, like I've said before, these were only some of the ways to complete set collections of series. And like I stated, there are no variants to these guys in official releases, which is sad, but it's true. And now let's take a look at his brother, the ultimate defender, the Mercurius. Of course, this was piloted by the main man from Wing, Hero Yui. And of course, due to that fact, he of course obtained the ability. He was not trained, but programmed with the abilities of that pilot. And just like his twin, he has waist, leg, foot, knee, And of course, the difference between him and him is he'll have more range due to the fact you don't have to have that sub arm to hold the gun up blocking him. So, see, he does have decent articulation. So, being for an older from the 90s, that's not a bad thing. I mean, look, you can even bend his arm all the way back. You know, do the old-fashioned trooper style. And of course, he has his shield. Now, there's a beam effect that comes with this kit. I couldn't find it, but pretty much you're able to put a beam effect right there. And if you, of course, have a regular one like nowadays, you probably could fit it in there with some adjustment. And of course, if you have this kit, you'll just repaint it. And of course, and just like his twin, he too has sub arms. But I didn't really have to do much with these because these were fine, especially for his shield bits. Now the shield bits do not separate in any way. They're all connected together, but they do, move around so you can position them in different poses. As you can see, sorry about that. There we go. You can move them all around. So they do have pretty decent articulation for, like I said, a kid of this age. And of course you can pull them to the front so you can do poses from the series. So you can get him to hold it like that. So he has his barrier. That's pretty cool. That's the one thing I wish they would do with these guys is make them in high grade variants, because if the no grade variants actually have decent for articulation for their age, just imagine what their high grade variants could do. I mean, heck, they probably have for the mercurius here, you'd probably have bits that separate and fully pose, just like the RG new Gundam's funnels. Maybe something close to that. Who knows? Anything's possible, am I right? Let's put these back this way. Now, there's one other thing these two specifically have that was pretty much meant from their because of their show appearance and all the appearances they had, and that's their heads. Sorry about this, mercurius, but I gotta rip your head off for a second. It's only due to the fact that I need to show off your second face. And that would be this. Hold on, sorry about this. There you go. There's their mobile doll face. They actually had it. Now, of course, there's a part that would go above it to cover it up. I just didn't have it right now. I put it in a parts box and, I just didn't want to get it. Because I honestly prefer their regular face over the doll face, because that camera, it looks a little silly to me, honestly. I prefer this one because it looks more just sleek and cool looking. Yeah, it just looks better to me. But if you have these kits, you can actually give them either their regular piloted face or their mobile doll face. Because as you should know, for those who have seen the series, they did have a mobile doll variant. Well, appearance, let's call it that. And that, of course, includes Mercury, our vayeate friend here, as I stated. And it's just literally as simple as ripping off his face. Don't look at me! As you can see. And like I said, sadly there are no other variants to these guys besides Racine. There you go. Sadly. But the one thing is with these guys, these were actually released twice in their no grade variant. Like you see here with my Mercurius box art in the background, you see Hiro Yui on the picture, but you don't see Tro on the V8. And that's because this is the second variant release of it. It's the same kit as same with the V8, but what you get with this variant, if you find them with this type of box art with a character on it, you'd end up getting a little figure along with it. And it, of course, being heroes and Troas. Now, let's get to the part where I said there's a third kit I'm going to review. And it requires one of these two in Pacific. And that was... Oh, wait. Before I do that, let me show off their manuals, because I do want to try to show these off with the kits. And that would be their original manuals. And let's show some fun art. Yeah, he looks pretty, doesn't he? But of course, it shows all of his looks and such. There we go. What he looks like and such. And just like I stated before, these were simple kits, fun kits. You know, anyone could build these guys. These now too much hassle. Perfect starting place for beginners and such. Okay, like that. And of course, the simple setup to how to form them and such. Let's put that there. And then here's vayeates. Oops, I put that. Didn't mean to glare at. There you go. And of course, they had fun artwork because they actually show the kit when it's fully built. And just as his brother, fully detailed pic of what he'll look like. And of course, if you have him and if you had a certain white mobile suit that we should all know well from Wing, but I won't say. Of course, he'll look great because these, of course, are part of the Oz organization. And just like his twin, instructions were simple. Pretty much basically the same thing minus the weaponry and such. Okay, now to the third kit I want to show off. And this was a very special find when I found this. It was a conversion kit that requires, and this is the truth, you need one of these two because of the parts from these kits. And that was one kit I think we should all know well, known as Virgo. And if you think I'm messing with you, nope, that is a Virgo on this, because as we all know, there are no Virgos out there. There are none. They're just pretty much capsules and little figures possibly, but not a single kit. Which was surprising in my opinion due to the, all the kits they released from the no grade line. You would think they would have at least thrown in one Virgo, being that they were pretty much the big soldier of the second part of the series, as their Leo counterpart was for the first. But no. Now you might be asking, I'm showing you a box, where is the doll himself? And don't worry, he's not in a dress. And that's this guy right here. My completed, custom built, and converted Virgo. Now when I found this conversion kit and the fact that it only required one of these guys, it took me a little while to get an extra one of these two, but I think it was worth it because when you have all three of them together, they look perfect. Being the fact that, as you should know, these two were pretty much the beginning mold of the Virgo before deployment. Now, why do you need the mold? These two, or their mold to be precise? Pretty much what you need for this guy is that you need the waist section, the legs especially, and his arm setup. The shoulder armor, the cannon, the fists, these knee parts, and just the whole upper torso is completely resin. That's, as I stated, the plastic that's designed for conversions. And that's exactly what you need to make him. Now, of course, this isn't accurate in color when you first get it. You have to paint it. There's no doubt to that. You have to. It took me a little while to do so, but I think he turned out good. Now, I didn't exactly do all the parts from the rescind conversion, only to the fact because they did have here. I believe it's still in here. Let's move him with his brothers. As you can see here, this is the box it came in. Pretty small and simple. And this is pretty much what you get once you get this box. Because it shows you right there what you really require and what you get. And of course, once you open it, there you go. And as for the build, as you can see here, I didn't use all the parts to the kit. I did not use the waist section. I didn't like it, to be honest with you. It didn't feel right to me. And being the fact that the waist section for these two was was pretty much the same, I felt like it was just simpler to keep the waist section because, as I'm going to show you, this does have some articulation. Because being that it is a no grade, it's not going to be perfect. But was able to keep the articulation of the waist for him. Now, he does not have much arm articulation due to the fact he's got these big shoulder armor, but it's also due to the connection point of where the shoulders connect into the body. They can only really go like that, sadly. Now, you still, of course, do have arm articulation, same with the wrist, because this isn't from the kit, this is from the conversion. See? And of course you can bump it. Now, as you can see with mine, I originally there was a convert part to do these in as the plastic version, but what I did, if you do get this kit, and I would recommend this, you get like rubber wire. You know, like for me, what I did, and this was just because I had some junk left over. I took some old headphones I had, and I just cut it. Literally, I just cut the wire off it, and you pretty much have to glue it in there because being that this is a conversion, there will be a little gluing required to make sure it stays together. But other than that, if you can paint him and you're good at all that stuff, he's gonna look great with your twins here. And of course, as I mentioned, there are no other kits of this fella, unfortunately. So when I found this, and of course, being that he goes along with these two, I was happy. It was just, it's fine with me that he's just a no grade. It would be like if this was a Bandai's official release of this. If they didn't, this would have been what it looked like. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I love it. It looks great. I wish Bandai would have just give us one already. Because I know I'm not the only one when I say this. Why don't we have any kits of them? Come on. We all love EW and such, but I'm pretty sure there are fans out there, and I've seen it myself. Vayeate mercurius, vayeate mercurius. I've seen it. And I'm not just saying Bandai either in this point. I've seen, why not a couple third parties do it? I've seen third parties convert rescind kits just like this into actual models. So, I don't know what's taking them so long. Am I right? But maybe eventually someone will finally get that idea to do it. So, yeah. Now, if you're so you do know this. The conversion kit for the V8, you can get still. It's from this site. If this will allow me. GK Model. I've ordered from them a few times. And it's a decent price because I think it was like $20, maybe $30 for the conversion. So it wasn't terribly expensive, but in the end, of course, I think it was worth it because it looks great with these guys. I always pose these three together. They work perfect. So, and I do know that recently, like in the last couple months, Bandai has been re-releasing the Wing no grades. So that includes these two possibly. You'd have to double check. I'm not 100%. But if they are, and you are interested in doing, any of these three, because you literally have the three options. Because like I said, for Virgo here, you just need one of these two. You don't have to have both. Or if you want the triple threat right here, like I said, this GK models has the kit still, I believe. And if you have the other two already, and you get a third one, convert it, and there you go. You got yourself a triple threat. And because, like I showed you, being that these two have their doll faces, you can actually do a whole mobile doll look. Because if you have Epion, the no grade, and you set it up with these three, you'd pretty much have the whole mobile doll look, whole team up. But no, now simply put, do I recommend these guys? If you're a collector, if you're a wing fan, you know, you almost that's pretty much answers the question. Of course, you gotta have these two, especially these two. I mean, come on. These were like the only non-Gundam mobile suits that actually put up a threat in the series, minus the Virgo too. And like I said, if you have the other kits I mentioned, you can set it up pretty cool looking. So yeah, I would recommend these, especially if you're just a beginner and such, and you want something interesting and simple. These two especially would be fun. But if you're more experienced and you have, one of these an extra one of these guys laying around, and you want a Virgo, go for it. Convert it, have fun. Now there isn't a Virgo 2, the variant where he's got two shoulder shields where the shield bits are on, I'm afraid. I haven't seen one. I've only seen this variant. So yeah, unfortunately, am I right? But I do hope soon we'll get one, or maybe Bandai will finally give us these guys. Unfortunately, though, I could see them doing them as a P Bandai. Because they did that once before with another kid, a set of twins. I don't remember. Oh, the Gazu R and L. I just remember that. They did a P Bandai variant release of those two, and they have never had a regular variant in high grade form, only their original. So just be aware if Bandai does make these two, don't be surprised. But if we're lucky enough, maybe a third party company might decide to give us something surprising by giving us these guys. Like I said, there are some rescind kits out there for these two in master grade scale. So if any of those guys are hearing this, please make one. Please. If not, maybe Bandai will. Only time will tell. But like I said, if I do recommend, yeah, these are fun, simple to build. And if you want something to really complete your wing collection, get the conversion, make the Virgo, so that way you can have that. And if you have multiple of these, you can do an army set. It'll take a little time to build, but it'll give you a challenge. All right. Well, I thank you all to come for watching today. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're not being threatened by giant dolls that are chasing you. But no, I'm serious. I hope you're all safe. You know, have enjoy your hobby as I do. And of course, if you like these kits, look into them. They're good. They're not bad. And if you're a fan of Wing, as I mentioned, here's some more kits that you may not have ever heard of. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy. Hope you're safe. And I hope you're all a good day from Speedball Haro.